Okay, so the theme is love hurts. And I'm going to fudge a little bit. I'm going to talk about how love hurts, but love also sometimes pretty cool. So it's 1989. A lot of my stories start like that. In 1989, I was robbing banks. And I had this girlfriend. I was 26, and she was 22, and she went to UCLA. She was a senior. And she didn't know I was robbing banks. She knew I was scandalous because I had a lot of money under my bed and $40,000 at any given time. And I was driving cars, and I had this day job working at a restaurant, and that was like my cover. But you can't do that and have a Mercedes-Benz and all that stuff. So she knew I was scandalous, but she loved me, and I was kind of a jerk, but she loved me, and it was kind of sad. For 6 years she was with me, and I was horrible. And I'm going to admit this. I'm just going to get it out of the way. I was that guy that we all hate. I got a 6-year-old daughter now. I hate who I was just as much as I hate the women friends of mine who date assholes. I was that guy. So I'll give you an example. So she was my girlfriend, and I hit on her girlfriend. I was cheating on her once. I came home, and she suspected it, and she was grilling me, and I said, you know what? Okay, you want to know where I was? I was out shopping for a rig for you. Now, don't you feel better? Real bad. You see, but now I know these things, so I'm going to tell my daughter later. Now I betray men all the time. I'm like, hey, this is what that guy really means. You see him saying that? What's really going on? Well, I'm sorry, what?
Don't share it with your daughter. Save that for others.
No, I'm just letting you know, I know guys, and I know the games they play. I was that guy. So, bottom line, it's 1989. I got this girlfriend who is wonderful. Everyone in my family loves her. Her name is Janelle. Sweetheart, smart, just fell in love with the wrong guy. So I go to rob a bank. I get caught. I get arrested. Special Agent Keith Cordes comes to me, interviews me, and they realize that I've robbed like 26 banks. I'm that guy. They named me the Beirut Bandit because everyone think I was Mexican. They thought I was Pakistani or Indian, Lebanese. And the reason they gave in the FBI when they were interviewed was he doesn't have any tattoos and he speaks good English. So he can't be Mexican. So that was the thing. So they thought it was that. My nickname was the Beirut Bandit. I get arrested. Special Agent Cordes comes to talk to me. He interviews my dad. He interviews my friends. He interviews my girlfriend. And I have a bunch of great people. I came from a religious upbringing. I'm a decent guy. I wasn't in gangs, big drug addict. I was just greedy and full of rage. That's why I became a bank robber. So my girlfriend's a sweetheart. I mean, she makes me look like, well, he's got some redeeming quality in there somewhere behind all this. So Cordes comes to me and says, you know what, Joe, we're going to have to put you in prison, but I don't feel we should wash you up. We're not going to send you for 35 years. In fact, we're going to give you a $100,000 bail. So I'm like, cool, I'll go with that. They get me a $100,000 bail. I'm able to make the bail. I go out and I promptly rob 5 more banks. And I betray Special Agent Keith Cordes. Now, I'm thinking I'm going to become a fugitive in Mexico. I had done it when I was in early 20s. This was now my mid-20s. I'm going to do it again. But I feel, I'm going to do the noble thing. I'm going to stop by UCLA, and I'm going to give some of this loot to my girlfriend since I'm leaving. Essentially we're breaking up. I'm going to go become a fugitive now. So I call her, hey, listen, it's FBI. It's Friday. I'm coming to UCLA. I know where your class routes. I'm gonna just hang out, and I'll scoot up next to you at a certain point, give you the money, and leave. So I drive over to UCLA, and as I'm trying to get into the campus, every time I'm trying to get into campus, I could see like a motorcycle cop hanging near the entrance. I'm like, oh, it doesn't bode well for me. So I go into Westwood. I park in a garage, and I walk into UCLA through the hospital, and I come into the campus. I go to behind the library. There's a bunch of kids studying there. There's like a bunch of vending machines and steel tables and steel chairs that scrape on the cement. And I get me a little cappuccino from the vending machines. I open up my Wall Street Journal because I was that guy. I was about money. I was a Republican. I wanted to be a robber baron. I was him. So I'm reading my Wall Street Journal, drinking my cappuccino. And now I had been raised in a church in the Valley, and a lot of my friends or people I knew there went to school at UCLA. And so I didn't want to be seen by them because this is my move. I'm just coming in, I'm coming out, a little guerrilla style. So I'm sitting there trying to avoid people, and I hear Joe Loya, and I'm like, one of those churchy people got me. They recognize me. And then I'm trying to ignore them and say, Joe Loya. And I turn around, and it's a guy in a UCLA sweatshirt, some shorts, glasses. I don't recognize him. I turn away. Joe, it's Joe Loya. and I feel somebody move behind me, and I jump up instantly. And when I jump up, whoever had come behind me, it's not him, I can still see him on the side of my eyes, has grabbed my wrist here, and has grabbed my arm here, and is holding it like that. But I'm like, I jump up, and I now realize I'm under attack. And so I pull in like this, and I just hit, and I hit like that, and I get them on the chin right here with my elbow, and I see the ponytail flip in the air, and then female FBI agent just drops. And he jumps on me, and so I'm able to get him and flip him over on the table, and at this point, you hear all these chairs screaming, ah! And I'm hearing, oh my God, it's like in Valley talk. And so all these kids are just like, all these women are just like, ah, oh my God, and they're all back. And so like, I'm just punching, I was raised brutal, I'm a bank robber, I'm not this guy anymore, but at the time, I'm like, he's like trying to scare me in the handcuffs. FBI, you're under arrest. And I'm like, I don't know you, and I'm hitting them. And I feel somebody at my leg, she's still kind of like drowsy. And so I'm hitting him, and I realize he's losing his hold on me, and I'm hitting him, and he's like, we got you covered, we got you surrounded or something like that. And I don't hear anybody like saying, put your hands up, we got you. Nobody's coming. It was just these two rogue FBI agents thought they were going to come and just scare me into handcuffs. So I'm hitting them, and now my dad used to take us there when we were little kids, because when I was in junior high, he was a Greek classics major there, so he would leave us there on Saturdays, and my brother and I would play Army by Pauley Pavilion, or we'd go to Royce Hall and play hide and seek. So I know the campus upside down, so I'm punching him thinking, I'm going to go into the basement of Royce Hall, I'm going to go up here, I'm going to go out the bathroom, I'm going to sneak, I'm already thinking I'm my getaway route, because he's losing his grip on me. And then all of a sudden he does this thing, which even I can't believe. Well, at first he says, help us, he's an FBI, he's a bank robber. And I yell out, and it's one of those moments, you know it. If you're a parent, you've said things to your kids, and you instantly say, what the hell did I say that for? As soon as he says, we're help us, he's a bank robber, we're the FBI, he's a bank robber, I say, I don't know these people. I'm like punching him, I don't know these people, stay out of it. And there's just nothing, like no integrity to what I'm talking about, right? I'm like really a violent guy here. So, and I'm like, stay out of it, stay out of it. He's losing his grip, help us, we're the FBI. And all of a sudden, I'm like, and there's like, I feel like 7 bodies around me. I just can't move. The students have jumped me. And the woman at my feet throws up the handcuff on my arm, and I'm like busted like a bronco, man. She just drags me down, and they handcuff me, and I'm caught. So there's a big drama around it where he actually leans on me. If it was almost like a Hemingway photo on a tiger, like just holding a gun. And he's like leaning on my back, hurting my back. And the kids started asking him questions. Is he really a bank robber? Yeah, he's a bad guy. And how did you become the FBI? And he starts talking about how he wanted to be an accountant, and at a work fair he met these guys, and and he thought, hey, that's cool, I'll do it. And the whole time, I'm not kidding, I am so humiliated that the kids have gotten me, and my girlfriend has turned me into the FBI, that I'm like, fuck you punks, and they just said, settle down, Mr. Loya, we got you under control. He was just cool. He was cool, which already says something. Me cussing and them being all cool is not what the local police would have done, but the FBI are totally different, man. They like, college education kind of alters your perception of how to like move in the world in law enforcement. These guys were cool. Anyway, I get arrested. So I get arrested, and Special Agent Cordes has me in the car, and he's driving me downtown, and he says, hey, listen, Janelle wants to talk to you. I'm like, no, I might say something bad to her. And so she really wants to talk to you. She says she loves you. I'm like, yeah, I know. She loved me so much. She gave me up to the FBI. I get it. So I go to jail, and it turns out that my best friend Johnny gives me up to her. He tells her all these horrible things I've been doing. He tells her all the women I've been sleeping with. He tells her I'm a horrible guy, and they hook up while I'm still going to court. They end up having 3 kids and moving to Santa Barbara or something. So, but here's the good thing. Janelle was a gem. I mean, her instinct, besides me, which was the worst instinct ever, but even then, she sounds something to me that I would later have. But Janelle, when I started changing my life, I literally, when I was in prison in the early 90s, there was that whole thing where a Christian men went to stadiums and held hands and prayed. What was that thing called? It was a movement, right? And then I was in prison, I started reading about WWJD, right? What would Jesus do? And my thing was, what would Janelle do? When I started changing my life, really, she was compassionate, she was decent. I mean, I was really blessed to have had the memory of her. Even though I never had her again, even though we never talked, and she told my family, don't ever tell him anything about me. I don't want to see him again. I'm so scared of him. I changed my life in large part, and I'm living today a life where I can like tell her one day if she ever contacts me, I've done it. I've done good. I'm not the bad guy. Thanks for believing me. So that's not the end of the story, though. I wish her well. I'm happy she's happy. My end of the story is I come out of prison 16 years ago, and there was this bank robbery in North Hollywood. These guys come out of the bank and they start shooting up. Everybody. They're like, they got armor from head to toe. You guys remember that in North Hollywood, that bank robbery? It was a big deal, international story. It was crazy. They just came out just shooting everyone. Police had to go into gun stores and steal guns to shoot at these guys. It ended up being a big deal. I wrote an op-ed. It came out in the LA Times. I get a call about 2 days later. I basically was saying it wasn't a botched heist. It was successful suicide. I get a call later, 2 days later, from retired Special Agent Keith Cordes, the guy who arrested me, and the guy who I burned by robbing 5 banks after he got me, and who believed in my future. And I'm talking to him on the phone, and he's like, we're having a man-to-man conversation. And he says, I said, you know what, Mr. Cordes? I said, I want to thank you right now for believing in me. I said, you know, I saw something there. I knew that you could change. I knew that you could redeem yourself. I said, I appreciate you not washing me up, not robbing my future. He said, well, here's what I think. He said, somebody needed to stand up for you. You know nothing about love. Somebody needed to stand up for you, and you could not do it for yourself. So I figured it had to be me. And that is sometimes when the love is good. Thank you very much.